A legal setback for Uber and Lyft in California. An appeals court there ordering the ride-sharing companies to comply with a preliminary injunction that required the firms to classify their drivers as independent contractors. Alexis Keenan is tracking that story for us. And Alexis, we're just over a week out from the general election where we've got that Proposition 22 measure on the ballot over in the state. What does this ruling from the court mean for the outcome of that?
Yeah, so Akiko, what's really going to end up determining this outcome is the outcome of that Proposition 22 vote that comes on Election Day. With that ballot measure, the key that will be really the vote will happen before this court's ruling would take effect. It would take about 90 days for this court ruling to be implemented against the companies. So really close eyes on that vote. Now, the dispute, of course, is over that controversial AB5 law. It technically became effective back in January of this year, and it puts those ride-hailing drivers among certain gig workers that are required to get the employee status. And in turn, of course, they would get some benefits like minimum wage, overtime, but also the state would get a windfall and a fresh source of payroll taxes there. So this court decision, it really, really narrows the avenues for these companies. And look, this includes not only Uber and Lyft, but also DoorDash, Instacart, Uber's Postmates, and other companies that have these gig workers. Really, to keep them as independent contractors, the paths are narrowing in that it's going to be up to this Proposition 22 because, yes, they do have the opportunity to appeal this decision, but there's no guarantee that the California Supreme Court would go ahead and rule in their favor. Now, Lyft did respond to this decision by the appellate court. They said that the ruling makes it more urgent than ever for voters to stand with drivers and vote yes on Prop 22. Uber, with a very similar statement, they also said that without a yes vote to this measure, that hundreds of thousands of California drivers would be out of work. They also said that the service would likely be shut down across most of California. The company also says that 72% of its drivers support this hybrid model that the companies are proposing, and that would give drivers some minimum earnings while they're working and also some healthcare benefits. So it's estimated that there's about 400,000 to 1 million drivers working just between those two apps in the state. But whether or not they are bluffing here and whether they would, in fact, shut down the service is yet to be seen.
And Alexis, we've seen a lot of these companies pour millions into this push for Prop 22. What do we know about where the race stands right now with just about a week out?
So together, the gig companies, they have poured almost $115 million into this measure. There's not really a consensus, though. There are drivers who are on both sides of the aisle here. Some of them do want to remain independent contractors, and others want those employee benefits. Now, one would think that those drivers that spend more time driving and more time as this is being their full-time job, perhaps would want those benefits. Those that want the flexibility and maybe pick up, some work here and there, they might want to stay as independent contractors. But still, the jury's out on how this is going to go. No consensus here.